To our prize winners this afternoon, members of the media and government officials, as has been mentioned by Kushal, the Honourable Minister was supposed to officiate at this event. Regrettably, he's taken ill, so I've been asked to stand in his place, and so I do apologize for disappointing those of you who were expecting the honour of meeting the Minister. As you know, at the beginning of this year, the Fijian government took a much needed leap towards protecting our environment by introducing a ban on single-use plastics. The bags that we had become accustomed to using because they were cheap, readily available, and usually free. So to create public awareness and stewardship for this initiative, the government launched the Plastic Free Fiji campaign competition and invited public video submissions from Fijians showing how they would be using alternatives to single-use plastics. The submissions we received showed that Fijians do care about this problem, that they understand it, and they want to be part of the solution. But the entries themselves showcase the Fijian spirit of ingenuity, improvisation, and dexterity in finding unique and practical ways of substituting single-use plastics. Some submissions really represented outside-the-box thinking, and it is this level of thinking that will help us craft solutions that will safeguard our environment and our day-to-day lives. For those of you who have made submissions and are present here today, it is your initiative, your energy, and determination which has separated your well-researched ideas from the rest. The winning entry stood out to our judges because it was creative, it was also practical, and it really was a beautifully finished product, one that employed traditional practices to suit a modern need for our society. So before we move on to the main part of this event, which is the presentation of the awards, let me take this opportunity to re-emphasize some of the key messages of why government decided to implement the single-use plastic bag ban. As you know, plastic pollution has now become one of the world's most pressing environmental issues. The world is simply overwhelmed by plastic waste. Some of it piles up in solid waste stations, but a huge amount of it ends up in our oceans. According to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation and the World Economic Forum, there will be more plastics in the ocean than fish by 2050. Alarmingly, if plastic waste is left untreated, it will take about 1,000 years to decompose, in the meantime filling the seas with microplastics. And these are really the particles that are smaller than 5 micromillimeters that are virtually impossible to remove from the marine environment. So research conducted by one of our universities here in Fiji has highlighted how aquatic organisms often mistake these microplastics for food. So when marine animals ingest these plastics, they at some point enter into the food system, and ultimately we who consume fish also consume these tiny plastics. So we are not only challenged to protect the marine ecosystem, but to safeguard human health. The research also revealed that more than 50% of the species that were studied had microplastics in them. As a country that relies on oceans as an important source of protein, this is especially critical. The Plastic Free Fiji campaign has served as a tool to engage the Fijian people in a concerted effort to conserve our natural environment. We are convinced that as Fijians become more aware of the seriousness of this problem, more and more people will want to do their part to avoid the use of plastics wherever possible. And when they do have to use them, that they will dispose of them responsibly. This means recycling plastics when possible, or disposing them in rubbish bins when recycling is not possible. And this also means keeping plastic litter off our streets. We know that when litter ends up on our streets, these also eventually end up in our waterways and in our oceans. So we will continue to raise awareness in our communities through the programs such as this one so that all Fijians can share the responsibility of making sure that our environment and our oceans in particular remain clean. The Fijian government plans to continue our efforts to create a plastic-free Fiji through initiatives focused on protecting our oceans and waterways that are most prone to pollutants, plastic pollutants. We recently launched the Ocean Stress Audit Program on World Oceans Day. We are also developing the container deposit legislation at the Ministry of Environment, and the styrofoam plastic ban, which we announced as part of the national budget, will come into effect on 1st January 2021. To champion our efforts to combat climate change, government has ramped up action by reducing import duty on biodegradable kitchenware and tableware from 32% to 0%, and this will also encourage the shift in market trends towards greening our packaging solutions. In addition, we also set up tax-free zones to encourage the recycling of waste and the setup of material recovery facilities to process waste into energy and other useful raw products. To those Fijians who continue to support the single-use plastic ban and are using environmentally friendly alternatives, we sincerely thank you for your actions. And this has shown that we can make the transition to alternatives. People drive the market, and when people, as the consumers, demand alternatives, the industry will definitely respond. So your example will inspire your neighbors, and we urge you to become ambassadors of the environment in your communities. It isn't easy to change old habits that we have gotten used to, but we understand that through steps such as this competition, we will start to see those changes taking or trickling down to the different layers of the community. So every action you take sets an example for others to follow, and every action you make others more aware of the problem. And every action you take builds on the action of others to create the change that is required. There will be another event at Kulu Kulu Public School in Singatoka this week on Thursday, which we hope the Minister will be able to officiate at. And this is part of this event where we want to honor the children and the teachers that have supported us on this single-use plastic bags ban. So we were also very pleasantly surprised by the submissions we received from the children of the primary school, from early childhood education to year 8. These children will be the change drivers in their own communities and also in the municipality of Singatoka, and ultimately they will be the ones to lead the change in the communities. And so this afternoon we honor those that are also going to receive prizes as part of this campaign competition. We congratulate you on your award today, and we hope that this will motivate you to continue the good work and to be lifelong advocates of the environment. Thank you very much. Manaka.